is getting into the games industry in 2025 still worth it? With layoffs, AI disruption, skyrocketing competition, it's a question a lot of people are asking, and rightfully so. So today we're going to cut through the noise and see if games development is still a good career choice or whether it's time to pivot. So let's get started. Hello everyone, I'm Piers Duplock, producer and consultant in the video games industry for 15 years. And in that time, I've seen a lot of ups and downs. So I think it's time to use my experience to work out if in 2025, the games industry is still worth exploring for people. Let's get going. So let's start by talking about the current state of the industry, because it's very easy just to read the headlines and think everything is bad. Obviously, we have the layoffs, we have the AI disruption, we still have like Web3 spinning there in the background somewhere. These are obviously very negative headlines, but what isn't being published is the positive stuff. So let's have a bit of balance and let's look at both, shall we? Yes, 2024 and 2025 have been brutal for layoffs, especially at the big studios. But overall, the industry is still growing. Global revenue for the games industry is projected to hit $200 billion this year. That's massive. And that is up on previous years. So games are still making profits. They are still increasing. They are still growing. So what does that mean for us as getting a job in the games industry? Ultimately, what that means is the jobs haven't disappeared, but they have moved. Games ultimately are still massive, but they are changing in shape and size, and studios are having to adapt, and tooling is adapting with that. So there are more studios now than ever before, but they are smaller in size. They're also more powerfully tooled, so their games can change over time. So what's different about 2025 than all the other years? Number one, AI and automation is everywhere. This has really hurt the junior roles quite a lot. The ones that do those repetitive tasks over and over can now be automated via scripts and AI tooling. Remote work is now normalized. However, there's a few caveats with that. Most companies will do at least hybrid, maybe 2 or 3 days in the office, but there are some studios out there that are full remote. However, competition is going to be fierce for those. Tools like Unity, Unreal, and Godot are lowering the bar to entry and increasing quality. So you can very easily ship a game solo, 2 people, 3 people. Incredibly small teams can ship a beautiful, very high quality game now. So what that means is both companies looking to hire and consumers have higher expectations than they did ever before. Both employers and players expect creativity, they expect a track record, and they expect polish, even from new people coming into the industry. So, is it a good career? And here's the brutally honest answer. It's brilliant, but it's not for everyone. And just to be clear, it has changed a lot. When I started out, it was because I loved playing video games and I was like, curious about how they were made. So I got a job and I loved it. However, I don't think you can kind of go down that route anymore. I don't think you can get a job at a top level studio just by thinking, oh, I like playing video games. I think making them will be fun. Let's go do that. I think now you have to start downloading the tools, downloading Unreal, downloading Unity, downloading Godot, and start making something yourself or with a small team, and then be able to show that proof to employers to then secure that role. I think that's the place we're in 2025. There is also some key personality traits that will be required to get a job in the games industry that maybe you didn't have to have in the past. You have to love problem solving. You have to love working in teams. You have to love learning and continuing to learn, because the games industry is such a fast moving place. If you have those things, if you have the curious mind that makes you download tools and play around, then I think the games industry in 2025 is still a fantastic place to be. In fact, if you have that mindset, I think it's probably the best place it's ever been in. It's easier than ever right now to self-teach. People put so much content out online. Hell, even I'm making a YouTube video this very second about this topic. So there's so much content out there online that you can learn from and you can use and you can go forward with. You can also prototype and publish so quickly these days with the tools available to us. It's such an easy thing to do, to just learn, do it, and publish it. It's also so easy these days as an indie developer to reach your audience, to reach your niche. Back in the day, there was no easy social media to kind of find your customers. It was all classic advertising. Nowadays, you just fire up a Blue Sky account and bam, you've got somebody there at least, right? And now, since COVID as well, people trust remote work so much more. That was a huge, huge thing that we didn't have pre-COVID, that we now have. Teams are more used to working together. There's software, there's infrastructure, there's just general knowledge of how to work as a remote team in general. And that's a massive plus point. It's also important to know, and not many people talk about this, but the games industry is a great starting point to jump off into another industry as well. You don't have to stay locked to games if you don't want to. Game devs all the time are being recruited into industries like film, VFX, education, automotive, architecture, tech, everything, because interactive 3D is a platform that every industry feels is valuable. Therefore, you as an employee are also valuable. Even I spent time in the tech industry working on mapping software because that was in 3D too. Let's talk about the risks of the games industry in 2025, because it would be very unfair of me if I did not mention the risks coming into the industry in 2025. Job security is fragile, especially at the bigger studios. We've seen thousands, tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of people at this point lose their jobs over the last 2 years, simply because studios got too large and they didn't know what to do with all these people and they had to get rid of them. So your job, especially these big companies, is not particularly safe in this environment. Another point is crunch culture definitely exists in some places still. I think the games industry's done a really good job of trying to eradicate this problem as much as possible. However, some studios still have it as a core pillar. They won't talk about it, but it'll be there. Another risk is the salaries can vary wildly depending on the role you're in the country you're in the city you're in even. In some places, it's a brilliant career to have that will fill up your savings pot and you'll be well off. However, in other places, you'll be massively underpaid, and that's just luck of the draw. And the biggest risk, the biggest thing in 2025 as of right now, is the competition. You do have these tens, even maybe even hundreds of thousands of people that have been laid off that are looking for jobs. But that didn't stop all the students coming out of university that also want jobs. So you have this massive pool of talent that is all competing for the same jobs that come up. So you could be applying for one job that's got hundreds of other people also applying for that role. Now, I'm not saying these things to scare you off. I'm saying these things so you can prepare yourself. So let's focus on that, shall we? Let's focus on how you can future-proof your career. How are we making this a smart move in 2025? Let's focus on a few points. Right. Number one, focus on skills, not titles. Titles are temporary, but your skills are forever. The job you have at the start of your career will not be the job you have at the end of your career. So build up your skills, keep going, don't worry about your title. Number two, build and share real projects. It can be a prototype, it can be a demo, whatever. Just build something that's nice and polished, share that around. People will appreciate that and you'll get more opportunities. Number three, learn how video games make money. It sounds super boring, but it actually makes you 10 times more employable to know how video games make money so you can kind of approach that differently. Number four, network early and often. Networking is so key. The games industry is so small. So networking is so valuable. And don't wait till you're applying to do this. Network all of the time. Be in communities. Get your voice out there. Because if somebody sees you as a prominent person on LinkedIn, oh, like, I know that name. Where's that name come from? Oh, yeah, I'm going to bump them to the top of the pile of my applications list. That's the way the world works. Humans like humans. They like seeing names that they know. Number 5, and the most important, is stay flexible. The most important people in this industry and the safest people in this industry are the people that are continuing to learn the new tools, continuing to learn the new methods of game development, continuing to learn everything. It's a craft, not a job. And if you treat it as such, you'll be much safer than 80% of people out there. Coming back to the original question we asked at the top of the video, is the games industry a good career in 2025? Yes. If you come into the industry with your eyes open and you've got strong skills and you have a growth mindset. It's no longer a guaranteed dream job, but it can be one of the most exciting careers if you make it work for you. If you're ready to take the next step, I have multiple videos on the subject of getting jobs in the games industry, so I'll link them down in the description for you. Let me know if you're one of those people that has been thinking about getting into the games industry, but you've been kind of put off by the headlines. Let me know in the comments. Hopefully we can do something about that. And also let me know if you've rethought things, if you've moved away from games in this time as well. I'm super curious. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. As a smaller creator, it really helps me and I super appreciate it. So thank you so much for watching this video and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one.